else can you hit somebody with an axe and the crowd loves it?
If you've got good gear, good padding, and you know what you're doing, you're not going to get hurt.
It's called HMB, which is Historical Medieval Battle, and it's like this level up where your armor's real, everything's steel, and you're trying to kill the other person. So I've been doing the sport for about 6 years, and I'm the current New Zealand female champion in all 4 1v1 divisions that we practice in New Zealand.
This might look like just a game, but medieval armoured combat is anything but.
Still got cold in my eyes.
For members of the Tauranga Titans, it's a serious business, with the ultimate goal of representing New Zealand in global tournaments at stake.
We're a full contact medieval sword fighting team, so we pretty much group up together. We've got a few people from Rotorua that come over to train with us. We just fight in New Zealand until we get to a qualifiers to actually qualify for the New Zealand team, and then maybe we go overseas if it's not cancelled because of COVID.
Drawing on elements from MMA, wrestling and swordplay, it's thanks to the heavy armour that there aren't as many injuries as you might expect.
Once you're in that helmet, it's like you're safe. You're behind bars, but they're protecting you. When you hit someone and you know you're hitting them as hard as you can, it's like this feeling and you just want to do it again.
There's been a few broken noses and maybe a few broken fingers, but nothing too bad. People definitely get bruises because you're getting hit with a blunt piece of steel, but other than that, there's nothing too serious.
Team veteran Charlie Tapsell has competed around the world for New Zealand.
I played rugby for years, did quite a few tournaments, and you're often at sevens tournaments, that sort of thing. You'll see people carried away by ambulance and whatnot. We don't really have that many injuries. The world champs in 2014 in Croatia, we had 120 hospital treatments, everything from owies and boo-boos right through to someone who broke their leg. At the same time, there was a BMX championship going on, and I believe they overflowed 3 hospitals to the point where they had to shut their event down. So this is comparatively extremely safe.
Despite the sport being male-dominated, the team's only female fighter isn't fazed.
Everyone in our club is male, and I hadn't actually seen many female fighters. There's a couple, but I didn't really know them. So to start with, it was like, oh, they're going to kill me, but once I got my armour and made it, and I knew it was strong enough, and I sort of realised they couldn't really hurt me, it was like, oh, this is actually okay, I'm going to hit them back.
Unlike most sports, many participants make their own equipment rather than spending a fortune importing it from overseas.
I've always been in a metalwork background. Like my job, I do welding, I smash out trailers and stuff, and I got to make my own like little pieces for them as well. So I've always been hammering things out, making things into funny shapes. So I just couldn't afford to buy a whole bunch of stuff, like fancy stuff, so I just started making my stuff, and now I make stuff for other people, and that money that I get now is what supports me having nice gear from overseas.
The best armour and weapons are made in Russia, which comes with its own problems.
With COVID, obviously the postage has got a lot harder and all the prices have gone up, and Russia and Ukraine are currently in a bit of a conflict, so I don't know why, but Russia can't currently export weapons. There's some rule about it, and unfortunately that involves swords.
But breakages do occur, and they can be costly.
So I bought this one. It's way too expensive. It can be fixed, but it will never be as strong again. I'm actually going to cut it down and turn it into a single-handed sword.
Cost about $1,000 for a good helmet, but it's definitely worth it to keep your noggin from getting destroyed.
And there's no chance of a sword going through the...
Oh yeah, there's always a chance of that, but there's some things you've got to put up with if you want to see and you want to breathe. There's a little bit of a risk to it, but...
That's a big risk though.
Yeah, it is a big risk, but I like to be competitive.
And if that hasn't scared you away, the Titans are always looking for new recruits.
So everybody is welcome at training. You can't fight unless you're over 18 years old, but come along when you're old enough. I will chuck you in armour, let you have a go. You should have learned how to put your
Keep an eye on the Tauranga Titans Facebook page for its next meeting, if you're game. Gavin Ogden, Local Focus.